Video I want to show you how you can build a basic Android app from scratch. We'll download and install Android Studio, and then we'll create a new project and you will have your first app. Before we start, I wanted to cover a couple of key concepts. I'll add a link to this document blog and you can go through it if you want to. So the two key concepts I want to talk about are activities and layouts. Now, what is an activity and what is a layout? When you create an app, right, then you have screens. Like if you are interacting with an app, you are interacting with a screen. Now, how that screen looks like is defined using a layout. So, using a layout, you can define the key elements and where they get placed. And then what happens when you interact with those key elements is defined using activities. For example, you can add a new button and then on click of button you want some action to happen. That action is defined using activities. So that's the very basic of Android app. You can think about activities and layouts similar to like HTML, CSS and JavaScript, the stuff you use to create a new website, for example. And this activity and layout, they are basically done using Kotlin and XML. You can also use Java for creating activity, it's just a class, and XML you use to define the layout. Okay, so let's get started. First, we'll install the Android Studio. You can go to this link which is shared in the blog, and let's download Android Studio. So the version I am using is Electric L 2022.1.1 patch 1. Maybe when you see this video and download, it may be a different version, but try to use the latest one. So I'm using Mac and I'm having an Apple chip, so I'll just go with this option. And let me see, so I'll download it under Android. So it's actually pretty fast. It gets downloaded, and once it's downloaded, we'll go ahead and install it. I'll just give it a few more seconds. Make sure that you use Studio provided by Android developer site. It's the recommended one and it makes your life very easy. So I'll go ahead and install this. It's actually simple. I'll just push it to applications. If you are a Windows user, the steps may differ. Please follow the guidelines or the steps mentioned on this site. Looks like I'm done. So I'll just go ahead and search for it, and here it comes. Okay, so I'll open it, allow it. I'll just go with the default options for now, and I would say don't send. Okay, so welcome. This wizard will set up your development environment for Android Studio. Now this may slightly differ based on the timings when you install this. I'll go with the standard option. Select UI, all the default options. I am selecting, accept the terms and finish. So it's actually quick to install, and it comes with Android SDK also, which is the software development kit. So SDK is important because it has the Android source code in it, and it also has a compiler which compiles the files you create to the version which Android understands. Okay, let's finish, and now you have Android Studio set up. So let's create a new project. We'll select phone and tablet by default, and let's say let's choose one of these options. Let's go with empty activity for now. Now these are the default options. Let's change it. I'll call it my first app, and I let it be com example my first app. I'll try to share this source on GitHub as well. I'll provide a link in the description. Now these are the options which we'll discuss in future videos. For now, let's go with the default options. So language is Kotlin. You can see you have two options, Java and Kotlin is gradually becoming the default choice, like recommended option. Minimum SDK is also important, and we'll talk more about this later. Let's go with default and finish it. So as you can see, it's installing and creating the new project for you, and it's done. Let's do finish. Okay, so you can see in the left navigation, you will see a set of files, which are the resources. I think we can close this, not needed. So this is the main activity. Now let me give you a quick intro to the main activity. Whenever you launch an app, right, an Android app, then it runs the main activity. And main activity so this is the activity which we just discussed at the start of the video. And this activity refers to a default layout, which is activity main XML file. This is the layout that I talked about. So this is layout, this is activity, and these are two key components of your app. So now you may be getting a better idea of things. So while everything gets configured, let's see this activity. This is just a simple class, like you can see, and there is just an onCreate method which is being overridden here. We can obviously add our own logic, our own custom functionality, which we'll do later. For now, this is a quick app for you. And as you can see, it's taking time because this is the first time I'm actually installing Android Studio on this laptop. So there are a lot of build tools that are being installed to help us with building the app. If you already have a Android Studio, great. Go ahead and just check the files out. I'll just wait for a few more seconds while everything gets installed. And like you can see, this Android Studio will make your life very easy. If you want to use some editor, or you want to use terminal to write the code, you can do that, but there'll be a lot of additional work. So that's why it's generally recommended. I've added all these ideas and concepts to this blog, so definitely go through it once you are through with the video. I also talk about why you use Kotlin, why we use Android Studio, and the steps to create a new project. So I think now it's pretty much done. Let's see the navigation here. So you can see we have the activities defined under Java, under this package. We have some manifest files as well, Android manifest. We'll talk more about these things in future videos. And you have resources. Resources are like, you'll have your layout, you will have your images, stuff like that, static files and all. So our primary concern for now is activity main and this activity class. So you can see this is what our layout looks like. So when we'll deploy this app and when we'll open it, you will see that you will get a simple hello world option. Now it's very easy to change things here. You can see it gives you so many options. Like you can just drag and drop things, build your buttons, and yeah, you can customize things here, do different things with it, and plus add different elements to your project. So we'll discuss more about all these things in the next video. For now, thanks for watching.